Hey, Giants 49ers Nation. Sorry I couldn't make my pennant video last night because I had to work last night. But man, great game by both teams last night. Not taking anything away from the Phillies, but wow, what a great game last night. I mean, even though I'm a Giants fan and I watch postseason games anyways, I mean, it's really hard to match that last night, what happened. I mean, it was just an all-out crazy game. Crazy shit happened all night long. Sorry I couldn't make my video last night, but the game ended like an hour before I had to go to work, and I was celebrating ever since last night before I had to go to work, during work, and after I got home from work, I was celebrating. This is the second time in my lifetime I got to see my Giants in the World Series. You know, not to take anything away from you Phillies fans, but man, what a great game played by both teams last night. You know, it was just awesome, okay? Well, let's have a little recap real quick. We had Sanchez on the mound to begin, and then we had Oswald, who's been an absolute beast against us from ever since I can remember when he was on the Astros. The last 3 or 4 years he's been dominating us. He pitched a great game also. And Sanchez came out in the beginning, the first 2 or 3 innings, wild, and he has a tendency of doing that. You know, that doesn't mean he's a great pitcher, but he just has an off game every once in a while. You know, and you can't really blame him for everything tonight. But he had a wild game tonight, you know, and how could you blame him? The emotions were high. We're 1 game away from winning the World Series, and, you know, I don't blame him for anything. Even though he gave up 2 runs in the first inning, you know, you just got to look past it. He did a really, you know, he threw a lot of wild pitches. And then what really made me upset was when the inning came up where he walked the batter, and then he hit Chase Utley. And then Chase Utley kind of threw the ball back to him, like, you know, here you go. This is for hitting me. You know, kind of, you know, right back at him, like, you know, right in your face. You know, and I've been thinking about this since last night all the way until today, and I've been on and off on the situation. But realistically, he shouldn't be touching the ball when he gets hit with it. Just take your base. It's as simple as that. And if you're going to grab the ball and throw it to somebody, maybe throw it to the umpire behind home plate. Maybe throw it to Posey. Don't throw it at the already frustrated Sanchez who's on the mound. Okay? I understand that maybe he just threw the ball to be nice, but what happened next was totally unnecessary. He goes on first, you know, and then Sanchez says, which I believe he said, this is bullshit, which he probably should have never said in the first place. And then Utley was like, what'd you say? And then he said it again, this is bullshit. And then he's all right, and then he started stepping a couple of steps close to him, and then he's all, fuck it. And then he stepped back. And then everybody on both benches overreacted, and then they charged the field. Okay, maybe Utley shouldn't have been such a little baby for acting like Sanchez hit him on purpose. Because everybody who watched the game knows he didn't hit him on purpose. This is Game 6 in the NLCS. This is the most important game of the season for both teams. And I highly doubt he's going to hit a batter on purpose with no outs and a runner on first. Okay, Utley? So maybe you should grow up a little bit, and even though he's frustrated and saying this is bullshit, just let him say that. He's the one who's pitching and fucking up the game at the moment, you know. Don't let it get into your hands and step to him like you're going to do something. You know, and I'm not saying Sanchez was right when he said this is bullshit. Because for all anybody knows, Utley was just throwing the ball back to be nice. Who knows? So it was an overreaction by both teams. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, oh, Utley's just a little bitch. Because he had, you know, it was both teams' faults. It was both teams for overreacting, and it was both teams for starting it in the first place. Okay? Well, then the Phillies ended up taking a 2-0 lead against us. But as you know, the Giants have been playing with their hearts out and been coming up every inning to try to score some runs. And we ended up coming back. Ross had an RBI, and it's been a day or so since the game. It was yesterday. I had to watch a really hard Niners game today, so my emotions of celebrating and going through a really tough Niner loss today and seeing a lot of stuff in the Niners games really pissed me off. So I can't really tell you what happened with the other RBI we scored. But we ended up scoring the game 2-2. Okay? So after that, the debacle with Utley and Sanchez, we took Sanchez out. And then Affeldt came in. And then Affeldt pitched a fucking great inning after Sanchez came out. Ended up getting out of that inning with the 2 guys on base that he walked on there and hit on there. And then the next inning he comes out and he's stellar again. And then we warm up Madison Bumgarner in the bullpen. He comes in for 2 straight innings. Perfect. He gave up a hit or so, but he was good. Okay? And then, to move a little bit farther in the game, since we stranded a whole bunch of base runners this game, I mean, we were all over. There was innings where we had a runner on first and second, runner on first, a runner on second, a runner on third, and couldn't drive anybody in. But everybody on the Giants today had a hit except for Posey and Renneria. And sorry, the emotions of us clinching the pennant yesterday and the huge Niner loss today is all just coming together on me right now. It's just a big mess. So to move along during the game, it was 2-2. And then Uribe came up with a huge hit in the 7th inning, 7th or 8th inning. I think it was either the 7th inning or the 8th inning. But he comes up and he gets a hold of one barely hits it over the right field fence, which was great. But in San Francisco, that would have been an out, and the game would have stayed 2-2. But luckily, it was in Citizens Bank. Went over the fence, 3-2 Giants. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, oh, that home run that did it. Giants are going. No, I didn't do that. Uribe came up and hit that home run, and I was like, all right, well, we need to score more runs if we're going to win this game. Because when you have a great offensive team as the Phillies coming up against you, it's kind of hard to win by one run. It doesn't matter how good your pitching is. So Uribe hits a home run. Okay, Lincecum ends up coming up in the 8th. I mean, he got 1 strikeout, and then he started getting up hits. I mean, you can't just expect the guy to do everything. I mean, he does a lot anyway. So you can't really expect the guy to come up to strike out the side. Okay, he striked out 1 guy, gave up 2 hits in a row, and then I believe he brought in Javier Lopez. I think it was Lopez. I believe it was Lopez. He finished out the inning. Yeah, it was Javier Lopez. Came up, finished the inning. Stellar. But to move further on in the game, I'm sorry. I know my stats aren't right. I usually make the video for the Giants right after the game or the next day. But with everything that was going on with the Niners, it's just all fucked up. So to move on farther with the game, Timmy came up, struck 1 guy out, gave up 2 hits. Wilson came in, and then they had a batter come up, and there was 1 out with 2 people on first and second, and they hit a ball straight to Huff. Beautifully fielded. Tagged the base. Well, no, I'm sorry. Caught the ball and threw the second, got a double play. It was absolutely beautiful. I was really nervous that inning. If you guys were watching the game, I was absolutely nervous before that happened. I was like, fuck. But then that huge play came in for us, and I was like, whew. You know, that's why they call it torture. That's why they call it absolute torture. That's how it's been all season. That's how it's been all postseason. And that's how it will probably be in the World Series, hopefully. And we got the double play. We came out. We ended up getting the bases loaded. We had a guy at first and second, and Posey came up. And Charlie Manuel, as the great manager he is, knew Wilson was going to come up because Bochy does this where instead of switching it with the 9th batter, he switches it with the 5th batter. And we had a guy on first and second after a really beautiful bunt by Torres. We had a guy on first and second. Posey was up. They said, okay, we're going to walk this guy. Even though Bochy sent Sandoval out as a decoy to make him think that Wilson wasn't going to come up, they didn't fall for it. And you would be stupid to fall for it. So they end up walking Posey, and then Brian Wilson comes up. And you know how Brian Wilson is. He's probably had 5 or 6 bats a year and has no hits. With the bases loaded with 2 outs, he grounds out. It's over. Okay, then he comes up to close in the 9th inning. He gets 1 out. And then he ends up walking Rollins. And then he walks Utley. He got Polanco out for that 1 out. It was almost a double play. I'm sorry. He got 1 out to Gloud. However you pronounce his name, Gloud. He got it out to him. And then he walked Rollins. And then Polanco came up and almost hit into a double play. But Rollins was out, and Polanco was safe at first. Almost got the double play. So then there was 2 outs. And then he ended up walking Utley. And then guess who comes up? Ryan Howard. An absolute beast at the plate, like Barry Bonds used to be for us. Not as great, but pretty fucking great. There's 2 outs. A guy on second and first. Wilson ends up working out a full count on him. You know, at this point in the game, I'm absolutely shitting my pants. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. I'm like, oh my God, what is going to happen? Because just as I know, and just as everybody, all you guys know, Ryan Howard could hit it out of the park any minute, any pitch. But then Wilson ends up throwing a cut fastball right down the plate. And he just looks at it, and the umpire just rings him up. And then that sealed the pennant for us Giants. I mean, it could... before we got it out and before we had it won, I was like, oh shit. But after it was won, I was like, that's a great way to win a game. You know, close ball game the whole entire game. Close game between great 2 teams. I mean, it was just absolutely awesome. You know, Cody Ross got the MVP just like I thought he would if we won, which we did. And it was just awesome, you know. And I can't be more proud to be a Giants fan than ever right now. And I just want to say congrats to all you Giants fans out there. You guys helped us do this. We helped them get through this. This is a team that can come back from adversity, and this, I believe, is a team of destiny, like I said in a few of my videos before. But just congratulations to the Giants organization, everybody out there who's involved with the Giants. Just awesome. And thank you for watching my Giants clinch and pin video. And I will have my next video up of the Giants after the first game of the World Series. Thank you.